This my dear summer. It's like reality.
Welcome to the Now What podcast. This your boy Jack Freeman, and you are now listening to the Now What motherfucking me podcast.
Definitely set the mood, man. But welcome back, y'all. But for those that don't know who that is my guy Jack Freeman.
Up in this thing.
He is a musician, an artist, and he is actually just dropped an album called Define Love. And he was an artist featured on the only artist featured on my album. That's not true. Swag was on there, and Susan Carroll was on there. But still, you were the most featured artist on my album.
That's true.
We had Watermelon Sunrise. If you have checked that out, that's probably our most popular song, most streamed song. And then Lips was a beautiful, and you wrote that.
I did.
And it is a beauty.
I wrote your verse too.
You didn't do that.
Okay.
You didn't do that. I ain't gonna let you extend that lie. What's going on, boss?
Man, chilling, man. I kind of feel like I'm not famous enough to be on your podcast no more.
That's nonsense. We have people from all walks of life on here, dog.
Man, we did this before though. We did this almost a year ago, and then all your shit got stolen.
Yeah. So, for a little background, people. We had a podcast that went really well, and yeah, man, I walked in one
It was
day.
like 2 days. It was Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, and all my laptops was gone.
You called me. You said, "Hey, did you see me leave with my laptop the other day?"
Yeah, man.
I was like, "Nah, fam. I did not.
That was rough.
I did not."
What
Shout
I
out to
mean-
the cleaning crew.
Hey, dog. I did. So I keep this camera just plugged in now, and it looks like it's on, and everything. I ain't had a problem since.
Oh, see, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's what it is. Shout
But
out to the
anyway,
cleaning
man,
crew.
how's life nowadays, man?
Things are good, man. Things are definitely looking up. I'm having a good time. Getting to a happier place, and just trying to find my way, man. So the album is out. That's like a huge stress relief. But then the hard part is promoting it afterwards.
Yeah.
For me at least. So I'm just trying to get in the pocket that I need to be in. Continue to perform and push the album more and do visuals and stuff like that.
The more and more as because as I'm dabbling in this music industry, and trying to make your mark, I just see the pitfalls in this cesspool of the music industry, and like the issue is this is the issue I have with it nowadays is since I put out a project and it was like 4 months ago. I put out a project 4 months ago, and I have people tweeting me like, "Yo, when we gonna get some more music?" I'm like, "Dog, how have you digested this entire album? It took me 3 years to make it."
It's people, those are the same people that'll tell you they on track two. They on track 2 of the album, and it's a classic, or it's super trash, or it's like those are the same people. Like look at Drake's inbox right now. Think about Drake's inbox. Scorpion came out one day, and then like maybe the next week somebody like, "Yo, I need that new Drake." You're like, bro, you just got 25
insane.
songs.
It's insane.
You know what I mean? So it's that's the thing that I've been able to kind of avoid, because I think people digest R&B differently.
That's true.
And it also depends on the type of R&B too, right? So like when I heard D'Angelo's last album, I wasn't rushing to finally hear another D'Angelo album. I was like, no, let me listen to
Black
this.
Messiah?
Yeah, I want to listen to it more and more. And I know you don't like the album.
No, that's bullshit.
Do you like it?
Black Messiah?
Oh, I thought you didn't like it.
No. Black Messiah. That's what I was saying. Sidebar. Black Messiah is probably one of the greatest R&B albums ever put out.
And see, I say that about Voodoo.
And you would get no argument from me.
Yeah.
But the reason why I feel like Black Messiah is so stellar and superior is it's just the composition of each instrumental is insanity.
Well, that's a funky album, man.
And this is the problem I have with D'Angelo, and why I know people are stupid, because or maybe they just digest music in a different way. Could be that too. But D'Angelo music is so technically sound, right? So like it's so intricate. The chord progressions are so dope that an untrained ear would be like, that sounds terrible. Yeah. I understand what they're hearing, but like when you understand music, it is some of the most beautifully
so many different
composed
elements in it. There's so many jazz elements, so many funk, like early soul elements, like, because you could see the progression in from, like in music, you could see the slow progression from like doo-wop to soul, but then soul to like funk music. So you could tell when James Brown was starting to move into funk. Yeah. And you like, and then Bootsy took, and George Clinton took it and was like, and just took it to another place, and that with the help of great drugs, but but yeah, like they do digest R&B a lot differently than hip hop, and when you hear hip hop, no matter how many layers there are to it, it could be a Kendrick Lamar album, it could be a Yo Gotti album. Whatever it is, they want the new shit the next week. And you're like, bro, you haven't even really listened to this. Like, I still find gems in old Jay-Z album.
100%.
Like, still find it. Yep. And sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to give those artists a time to, like, live long enough for them to put something together that is inspiring enough. And for you, like first of all, your album was great.
I appreciate it.
So... in a sense, it took your whole life to write that first album.
Yeah, man.
And then it took you learning music and understanding how the process goes as it goes to recording music. It took you 4 years?
Yeah, but
from the moment that you started the album.
It took about 3 and some change. Yeah.
And so it was a growth.
Yeah, actually, some of those songs are like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah. So if that album came out in 2015, it's a different album, and it's probably not as good an album.
Probably,
because I know that my album, Define Love, like if I had put it out in 2017, wouldn't have been the same album,
right?
And it wouldn't have felt the same way. Probably wouldn't have been as good,
right?
And so it's all timing. But people don't understand that. They don't ever want to see the sausage get made.
Well, that's what I don't understand about music nowadays is, and I don't see it getting any better because music takes a long time to make. Well, let me take that back. Quality music takes a long time to make. And the fact that music is so disposable nowadays, I think artists are having a hard time filling a quota rather than like really digging into the artistry of music.
I think it depends on how the artist got into the industry and what tone they set at the jump. Right. Like Jay-Z's never in a rush to make an album.
Well, that's an anomaly, though.
Right, but he's an artist like Kendrick Lamar, who can take 2-3 years.
He's another anomaly,
And so it really just depends because it's all about what you put out, and it's also about, because like if you're gonna put out club records, then you need to come every 2-3 months or so, or have a single every month or something like I'm not holding Black Youngster to the same standard as I would hold J. Cole. Right. Because Black Youngster is gonna give you a club hit, and he can churn those out for the rest of his life. Right. But when an album comes out by Black Youngster, I don't know if I'm listening to the album. But I'm looking at J. Cole and I'm listening to a single and I'm listening to it for the context.
The body of a work.
Yeah,
I got you.
So it's definitely depends again on the tone that you set from the jump. Right. If you put together something that's well thought out and the music in it it has a lot of movement to it and all that kind of stuff, then you give somebody something that people can listen to over time and never get tired of.
That's a good way of looking at it, and I think that's just the problem I have right now is because if you look at the trend of this music genre, popularity is kind of synonymous with relevancy, right? They're the same now, and so people are doing things just to remain popular in the public's eye, rather than just really focusing on the craft. And that's why I feel like, excuse me, dealing with allergies, man, I gotta clear my throat, but I feel like that's why the quality level of music has actually fallen off. And I don't say that as like an old nigga hating on the younger generation, but if you look, at what goes into like a Kendrick Lamar album or what goes into like some of these albums who have like string compositions and piano and bass.
There's a lot of intricate writing to it, and there's so many words put into it. And
where now like cats can just like take a loop from online and just plug it in, which I'm not knocking that because a lot of that shit is hot. I bump it, but if you look at the overall body of work, like to me, the golden era of music wasn't the 90s, like we like to say. I think the golden era of music was the 60s and 70s, like in that.
So
like
golden era of
Motown.
music. Yeah. So that I think that was the golden era as well. I think the golden era of hip hop was definitely the 90s.
I mean, yeah.
The 70s, that's where my favorite. That's where a lot of my favorite music.
100%. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Parliament.
Yeah.
All of them cats. James Brown.
Donny Hathaway is my favorite artist.
No question. That's my favorite singer of all time.
Yeah, he's my favorite artist, like across the board. Songwriter, vocalist, because I've never heard him hit a bad note. And
a song for you, Donny Hathaway, a song for you, for those who have not heard it, it is the ultimate love song, in my opinion. It's my favorite love song of all time. Of any human being who has ever sung a love song.
One of the other ones, though, that he made, Giving Up. You know the song Giving Up?
I haven't heard that one. I gotta check that one out.
So first of all, the composition of this song is immaculate, right? And then there was this movie called Disappearing Acts. It's based on the book. I forget the author's name. It's a black author. And they made this book, and it was, they made this movie based on the book. It was a low-budget movie with, independent movie with Wesley Snipes and Sanaa Lathan, and they fall in love or whatever. Right. And so, like one of her dreams in this story is she wants this piano because she plays the piano or whatever. So he buys her this antique piano. Well, then she like hurts him somewhere in the movie, like hurts his feelings bad. So he goes into this, like he's like a laborer, like a construction worker, or like he had a moving company, so something like that where he worked with his hands.
Laborers.
Yeah, he did some type of manual labor, right? And so he had worked really hard to buy her this piano, and she did something that really hurt his feelings, right? So he goes into the house, and there's this montage of like how he's just going through it, and this song Giving Up by Donny Hathaway is playing. And as the song amps up, he's getting more and more angry. This guy takes a hammer to this antique piano that he bought her. Like the keys just, rips the key, and then the song, it makes the song greater, and then the song makes the scene greater. And from there, like before that, I already loved Donny Hathaway. Everything he did with Roberta Flack, and everything that he did, just as a writer for others.
His whole catalog.
Like a whole catalog.
Everything.
But like that 70s time, the music sounded warmer. Everybody seemed like an instrumentalist. Like everybody was a musician. Like
I also think the technicality has something to do with it too, right? So the microphones available in today's technologically advanced world, I don't think it will give the songs that were recorded back then as rich a tone. It's like you almost were lucky that the technology wasn't as good.
Well, there's also the frequency too. So the frequency that they started using in the 80s was different from the frequency in the 70s.
You want to talk about an era of music I hated?
What?
80s music.
You didn't like 80s music?
I don't like, except for like the birth of hip hop, and even then, like some of the rappers, like it was just first. It's not something that I like, but like you can talk about like that. Don't you forget about like that whole synth driven
and all that stuff.
That whole mullet,
I can see where that's a
fanny pack age. I hated that.
It
music.
was some jams in the 80s though.
There were no jams.
Oh no, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Whitney Houston,
Prince, Michael Jackson.
Okay, Prince is you naming. That's different.
Nah.
I'm talking about that.
Shaka Khan had some 80s hits.
See, but like if you listen to the instrumentals, that boom boom boom, like it's just
some of them.
They used a lot of corny. Tell me
they
didn't use a lot of corny sounds in the 80s.
Oh no, it was some corny sounds.
I hated the sound.
It was some corny sounds,
and it kind of bled into the 90s, but then they picked it up.
They did. Well, see, it was also like people were still trying to figure out what to do with the synthesizer.
Yeah, well, that wasn't
it. That wasn't it.
That wasn't it.
I think there's a video of like Herbie Hancock, like getting like the first synthesizer
Really?
and like figuring out like what you can play on it and how it can work and all that kind of stuff.
I guess.
And it was weird as hell.
Maybe I'm harsh.
It was some Dexter Wanzel. I think that was 70s, 80s. Dexter Wanzel, that's the
Man, 80s was bad, dog.
Dog, 80s had some jams, dog. 80s had some jams. Cameo, come on, man. Come on.
They were there.
Cameo, oh.
That word out.
Word out.
Nah, man. It was just something about the sound of the 80s. I hate it.
Rick James.
I appreciate it for what it was.
Rick James.
Because Rick, you know who reminds me of Rick James in an odd way?
Who?
Young Thug. No, Young Thug is our Rick James of today. Because you look, I'll tell you why. When you look back, Rick James wasn't like a vocalist. He couldn't really blow like that.
He kind of had some vocals. He had some power behind it.
Okay. So but what made him?
He was a good writer.
He was a good writer, but what made him was like his vocal inflection and the way he used his voice. And so when you look at Young Thug today, that's what separates him. A lot of OG artists respect the way that he uses his voice.
Rick James is the first trap artist.
I would challenge you on that.
Who?
Curtis Mayfield. Pusha Man. That was in the 70s.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, man. He was talking about that.
But Rick James was like really out
daddy,
here.
I'm your nigga in the caddy.
When I was a young boy,
nigga said,
growing up in the ghetto.
Yeah, he did that.
Hanging out on corners. Rick James was off the chain with that shit.
But
drinking with the fellas.
That nigga Curtis Mayfield. And he said,
okay,
what you need? Got some coke, got some weed.
He did.
I'm your Pusher Man.
He had the jams. He was
Curtis
in the trap.
Curtis Mayfield was I remember that Twitter argument was probably like a year ago, where they was talking about who's the first trap artist, and it was it Gucci Mane or T.I.? And I said it's Pusha Man.
Yeah, it was good.
It was Curtis Mayfield.
Absolutely.
Pusha Man.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Yeah, man.
I'll take that. Okay, Curtis Mayfield.
Who forget about Curtis Mayfield, dog?
First trap singer. I'm doing when does this come out?
Next week.
Next week. Okay, so I'm doing a Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute in New Orleans, with the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra.
Really?
That shit is dope.
What date?
October 12th.
October 12th. Yeah. Okay.
And so, shout out to my guy Adonis and Madania, but also accompanying me on this is Renee Neuville. She
put me on.
She's one half of the group Johnny. Remember Johnny? Hey, Mr. DJ, you can get
okay.
Everybody's ready to. So she wrote that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was in that group, and she's done some stuff with like jazz artist Roy Hargrove and all of that. So this is like the first thing I'm ever doing with like this huge of a production, but it's pretty dope. It's pretty live though. So
you gotta film it.
I definitely got to get somebody to film
it,
that.
bro.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. I'm excited for you, man, because this album is really dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really listen to it. I don't listen to a lot of new stuff. It's hard because it just comes at you so much.
The boy was singing that thing in the car the other day.
Oh, me, yeah, of course, yeah. And my shorty likes to capture candid moments on Instagram stories.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sick of Instagram, man. But no, the album is really dope, man. And the way you came on, I feel like is put you in the mood for that. What made you want to make a album with so little tracks? Because I'm intrigued by that aspect. Well, because it's 9, isn't it?
Yeah, I am a huge proponent of short albums.
Why is that?
Because
I'm on the fence about it.
Well, because when CDs came around and they started making 80-minute CDs, people were like, oh, I could put more songs on it. Mm-hmm. But that didn't necessarily mean you were putting more good songs on it.
Right.
So you get an 18-track album and 8 of them you could skip.
Nah, the filler, yeah.
And like one of the blemishes on Jay-Z's career is that he always regretted that he did a double disc on Blueprint 2.
Really?
Yeah. And so much so that they put out Blueprint 2.1 right after that, and they cut all the tracks that weren't popping like that.
Yeah.
Like at that point, it's like, again, we looking at the golden age of music, and a lot of those albums were really short albums.
That's true.
And like I listen to Fela Kuti a lot. Fela Kuti has albums, okay, so Fela Kuti is a Nigerian, he's like probably like the father of like Afrobeat. Probably somebody's gonna correct me on this because it's gonna come out, but he was a revolutionary in Nigeria. He spoke a lot about no infighting within their country and keeping everybody together. Similar to Bob Marley, maybe. But it's really jazzy stuff. We actually we were sitting in the studio when we were when I told you about them when we had chopped a sample from them.
Oh, that dude. Okay, yeah.
So some of his songs are like 11 minutes long. And his album be like 4 tracks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like a lot of my favorite like Donnie albums, I think Extensions of a Man might have been 9 tracks.
Yeah.
I think
a lot of
Stevie was one of the guys that put out longer albums, but they were like 14, 15 tracks.
I didn't think they needed to be like, so like he had I think Songs of the Key of Life. That has some skippable tracks.
Yeah,
no disrespect to the legend.
And so like I think that if you just trim the fat, what you come out with is if the biggest gripe on my project is that you wanted more or that it was too much.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't enough tracks. Then that leaves a certain level of anticipation.
Right.
And so I had recorded maybe 30 tracks, but there was only 9 that I knew were like debatably maybe 2 more, but like there was 9 that I knew I needed for this.
And that makes perfect sense, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm currently recording my next project, and I'm settling right now. I'm thinking like 9 or 10 tracks.
Yeah, and I think to me, I'm like the sweet spots for me is 9 to 12 tracks. Like any album that I listen to, if it's 9 to 12 tracks, I'm definitely okay. Let me see what they really talking about.
Right.
But then if I'm sitting there for 20 songs and I'm like,
I don't got the time for that.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
I don't have time to listen to 20 songs.
Yeah, and what ends up happening is that a lot of these guys, they'll put songs on there that are just the exact same song as the last one.
Right.
So anytime they went in the studio with that one producer and they put out like they made 4 songs in the studio that day, they're gonna put 2 of them on the album, and then maybe another one later on. Like that's like no disrespect to Drake, but that's how I felt when Nice for What came out, and then I heard In My Feelings, and I was like, In My Feelings just sounds like he was in the studio doing. I got
an extremely unpopular opinion. I do not like In My Feelings. Like
I don't like it either. I don't love the song either. I'm not
So I sat down. So when Drake dropped, like I sat down. I was one of the ones that listened at midnight. I was like, let me check him out. So went upstairs in my studio where I got the good speakers and bumped it. And I thought it was a cool project. I don't think it was his best project. But In My Feelings came on, and my exact words were like, what the fuck? No disrespect, because I just hard making music, dog. But it's just like it was just the corniest, like
I just think
kiki,
that I think first of all, bounce music is an acquired taste that.
What's that called?
Bounce, the bounce sound, the bounce music.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that Back That Ass is a bounce song.
I can't.
So Big Frida,
it's too much nostalgia for me.
People like Big Frida. I guess a more mainstream bounce song would be Chopper Style, but like bounce is a form of music similar to what go-go is to Washington, to DC,
right.
Or what screw is to Houston.
Really, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a whole. So if you don't really like, if you're not.
I can't even. I don't have an ear for it right now.
Yeah,
I know what go-go sounds like. I know what screw sounds like.
And it is an acquired taste, but like a lot of that stuff is, something that was created in, South Louisiana. So it's like, the Baton Rouge area, the New Orleans area, and all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
so
I was a big Wayne fan. I don't remember.
Man, Manny Fresh was sneaking a lot of bounce in there.
Really?
What
songs?
Dang, now you got me trying to figure out what.
Because I was a big Wayne fan.
So Back That Ass Up by Juvenile is definitely a bounce song. That whole upbeat.
Yeah, what qualifies it as?
It's the production of it. It's the production of it.
Well, obviously, but like I'm talking about what specifically in the instrument. Because like if you talk about Screw, it's obviously the slowed up.
It's bass line and drums, and the way they chop up, like the
that's new to me.
And a lot of the bounce records that are like really popular are the ones that are more underground by artists that people outside of like Texas, Louisiana don't really know.
Right.
So like Magnolia Shorty, rest in peace to her, or like I say, Big Frida, she's like super popping with the bounce scene right now. DJ Jubilee, boy, don't talk that shit, now roll with it. Talk that shit, now roll.
I don't think I've heard that song.
You've never heard? Oh my God! I feel like we need to take a break from you to hear this song. You have to have heard this song.
It's possible.
Being in Texas for this long, you had to have heard this song. Walk out like a dog, walk out like a dog, walk out like a dog, woo dog, woo dog. It's a whole dance.
I don't think I've heard that.
Oh my God!
I ain't from here, bro.
Listen to it. I know, but you've been in Houston how long?
But I haven't been in the club scene in I don't know.
Well, that's true. A lot of it is club music,
right?
So,
and when I was in the club scene in Houston, it was what was like that early Drake stuff was like.
Yeah, but
Drake got a lot.
But even when you go to the clubs, even then, the DJs had a bounce mix. Houston can't get by on not doing a bounce mix. Louisiana mix.
But I heard a lot of like UGK, Paul Wall, Slim.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of that stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's new to me.
Yeah, so you heard a lot of new UGK or a lot of power. You heard a lot of UGK that came out a long time ago that you had never heard before.
Right.
Okay, so go to a New Orleans shindig, just anything.
Shindig.
Just go to anything in New Orleans, a Sunday or a Tuesday.
I got you.
and go to the daiquiri shop.
It's interesting though, that aspect of it though, because when we were growing up, each geographical place had a subgenre of rap. So you had like West Coast was like the Snoop in that high that doo, and then up north was the Bay, that Bay music, that hyphy music.
Facing,
and then down south had that. So Houston had the Screw stuff. Down south had their own thing. Atlanta had the
Chicago had Midwest had they whole fast rap.
New York had their own brand. And so that's to me what's interesting about today is because of the internet, all of these kind of the geographical identities are kind of dissipated. Like I can't tell. Like when what really hit me, this is when it first hit me, was Designer. When Designer came out and they said he was from New York, I was like, what the fuck? I thought he was from Atlanta. Yeah,
because he really did sound like a
Southern
Atlanta
rapper.
dude.
Yeah.
You know, another dude that I always forget, like Waka Flocka being from Queens. Like
he's from Atlanta.
He's like he was born in Queens,
but he's from Atlanta. Like I know people that know,
like, he grew up in Atlanta, but like
he from Atlanta.
But like he'd be like, because you know his mom is from Queens.
Yeah, that's different.
And so, but like it throws me off because when you got a heavy New York infrastructure in your house, or like your mom is from New York or whatever, you would think, I'm sure he like definitely appreciates New York music, but then when Atlanta has that type of an effect on you.
I mean, have you been down there? You been to Atlanta?
You know, I still ain't been to Atlanta yet.
You never been to Atlanta?
Yeah, but I'm going soon.
My buddy from there, from the South Side and Jonesboro, and he I went down there. It's like I've been in the South for around almost over half my life now. Yeah, and it's infectious. Like I used to talk like before I was in the South, so and like it still comes out a little bit. Yeah, like my West Coast vernacular, but for the most part, I have a real lazy tongue, and so I sound like I'm from the South. People from the South don't think I'm from the South, but people from like when I go back out west, they're like, you sound like you're from the South.
Because people from the South think you talk too fast, and people from the West think you talk too slow.
I'm just out here.
You're just out here in the middle. So you know, New Orleans is like that for me. Like when I was in high school.
Two sexiest. No. Two sexiest dialects from a woman in existence is New Orleans,
and
Jamaican. Like
I'll take that. I like that. They can say anything.
Oh my God.
They can say anything.
I went to I'm gonna let you finish the story, but I went to a Jamaican restaurant. And this lady who was, I mean, she's not an attractive woman.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't
she
attracted to her. She talked to me. I was like, you can take me.
It's kind of It's kind of like the old lady at the massage parlor at the like Massage Envy or something like that. And then she start giving you not that type of, but like, you know, you see her and you be like, okay, you know, and then she give you a massage. You be like, I
love your hands on me.
Yes, I would. Yeah. So I feel you on that.
Jamaican women when they talk, it's just. I can't even mimic it. It's not even gonna do it due diligence. And then New Orleans, this is how.
Like, what can I do for you, baby?
Baby, the baby.
What's up?
I was like,
what's up? What can
I felt like I first went to New Orleans. It was 2010.
Yeah,
and we were practicing against the Saints, and I'll never forget though. I went to go get a po' boy sandwich. And that's the first time I had a po' boy sandwich.
Oh man, that was a wonderful experience, wasn't it?
It was great.
Yeah.
And so the waitress came to me and saying not an attractive woman in my eyes, but she said stuff to me that made me want her. And she was like, "Oh, what you want, baby?" I was like,
"He's like,
and
what is your name?"
But my buddy was sitting by me. Okay, you too, baby. And I was like, "You call him that too?
Yeah, you can't just be." You gonna give him the lap dance too?
Exactly. I'm paying for this shit. Yeah, nah, it was it's amazing.
But see, I was in high school when Katrina touched down.
Okay.
And so in Houston, what happened was a whole bunch of people came down I-10.
Right.
And they were just it was the closest major city that was relatively safe. So all these people came and they started infiltrating the high schools.
Yeah.
And so
infiltrating.
and I mean, they were just like I looked up one day and it was like 200 kids from New Orleans, and I was like, who are these kids? And part of me, you know, felt really bad for them and all that stuff. And there was always a bad stigma about New Orleans, the crime and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they was always like, you know, I'm finna go back in a few months. And I'm like,
go back.
I'm like, why are you going back to that? Like, it's underwater. And I was 14, 15. I didn't understand it.
Right.
When I finally went to New Orleans, I want to say almost 10 years later.
You used to tell them, why are you going back to that?
I would be like, no, seriously, because at the time I'm thinking, yo, the news, I'm thinking about what's on the news. So I'm like,
I got you.
I'm like, yo,
that's hilarious.
The city is underwater. You like what? I'm curious to know what there is to go back to, because you're telling me that you lost everything.
Culture, man.
And so when I got older,
I knew that at 14, Jack.
About 6 years. No, I went about 6 years later. 7 years later, and I my first time in New Orleans. I'm in the car, and we stopped downtown, and I was waiting on my boy to go inside and come back. I rolled the window down, and I just kind of stepped outside to like stretch.
Right.
And as soon as I got out of the car, I said, "Oh,
I get it.
I get it 100% now. I completely get it. Like I would want to come back too. Like that's home for them."
That's dope.
And it's it's one of the cities like with the most history in America too.
I tell you, I love the food. I love the food.
Yeah, the food
is
wonderful.
amazing. I remember I thought I had gumbo before.
Oh yeah, that's always a good one too.
And I never had gumbo before. That shit is unbelievably good, man. I tell you one thing that's overrated though in New Orleans is that king cake. Have you ever heard the king cake?
Yeah, I know what king cake is. Yeah,
that shit is the most.
You don't like it?
It's just a big ass funnel cake.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
And it's an average funnel cake by that.
I had a redfish beignet there.
That's out my pay grade. That sounds
no. It was on the appetizer menu at an oyster bar.
Really?
And Jesus Christ,
yeah.
It was like a funnel cake, but with redfish on the inside. It sounds crazy as hell.
Fish and funnel cake.
But it's not a cake though. It was breaded that way.
That's a hard pass.
That's
a hard.
You gotta try it. It was amazing.
I'm not eating fish.
I'm not doing it justice by describing it.
I'm not eating
fish.
I'm not eating fish and cake.
It's not cake, but it looks like when you get it, it looks like a funnel cake the way it's breaded.
Oh, so
it's breaded. It's basically fried. It's basically fried redfish.
Okay.
So it's really not a cake, but
Sound of the trash.
It's so tasty.
Yeah.
It is tasty. Man, yeah. So but yeah, like I mean, that's like my favorite city.
New Orleans is your favorite city?
Yeah.
Really?
It's my favorite city. I'll go I just need an excuse.
It's not as bad as people.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, I think every city has its. I mean, even if you look at like South Central LA used to be bad. Like just in general, it's not like the news paints it out to be like.
Well, also New Orleans just if we're gonna call a spade, they literally let the hood flood during Katrina. The first quarter didn't get touched.
Spicy.
The first quarter didn't get touched.
That's spicy though.
But it's true.
I don't know enough about the.
If you try to go find Magnolia projects right now, they are torn down to the.
No. What I'm saying is I don't know enough about the infrastructure or like what, because I know FEMA got a really bad.
They let
drawback from their participation.
A lot of the places that were highly affected were the hood.
Do you think is that documented?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow. And see, I never really looked into it. I remember specifically. And I want you to remember your point, but I remember specifically because I told you I was a big Wayne fan, so I used to listen to Wayne in college. And when Katrina hit, he came out with that song called Georgia Bush.
Yeah.
And so, and in that line, he said, which was kind of like eerie to me, was he said that, and it's confirmed by people you hear, and this could totally be conspiracy theories, but he said, I'm a butcher, but he was like, why? He said, what happened to the levees? Why wasn't they steady? Why weren't they able to control this? He said, and I keep getting told by people that they were hearing explosions. So he was saying that people heard explosions by the levees.
Somebody just told me that the other day that
that's wild.
They think somebody blew the levees up.
That's
and
crazy.
It's like, if you go to some of the places that were the hood in New Orleans, they're not there anymore. Like they tore down Magnolia and I want to say Calio projects down to the concrete foundation,
right, and
put up these
gentrify.
Yeah, and then they started integrating.
Well, see, this is and I don't know enough. Like I said, I don't know enough about that specific situation as far as like the explosions and the levees, because those are like dangerous accusations. Because what you're basically saying is the government is complicit in murdering people. Like that's what you're saying. And I'm not saying that's far-fetched, but what I'm saying is it's just accusations I have no base for saying.
Yeah, I mean...
So I'm not saying it did or didn't happen. I'm completely neutral, right?
It's a very, very... It's a touchy subject.
100%, yeah. I'm extremely sympathetic towards that because I don't know what it's like to have my home flooded. Well, I do actually. My home got flooded here. Yeah. but I mean, I had the resources. We packed all our shit up and we moved. Out south.
Absolutely. And so I think one of the unique things that happened during Harvey was that places that they've always said didn't flooded.
Yeah.
Like the Woodlands and like
I didn't know the Woodlands flooded.
Like the Woodlands flooded, and they flooded during Memorial Day flood.
Really?
Yeah. And then places like Sugarland, when they had to open up the reservoirs and flood all of those houses out and all that kind of stuff to kind of release pressure and stuff like that. Typically, they were relying on Third Ward.
Yeah.
Sunnyside.
I read when that whole shit went down, Harvey. I was reading this interesting tweet thread. It was from this guy, and because the city was getting a lot of backlash for not having proper precautions for the city. Yeah. And what he was saying was, it made perfect sense to me, but I don't know enough about the infrastructure to call him on it or say it was accurate. But it sounded accurate to me, but he just started laying out how the city of Houston was built and how the growth of the city was unprecedented. And so therefore they didn't have the infrastructure to handle all of the new, because what is this, the fourth biggest city in the world?
Fourth largest
I mean in America.
And I think geographically it's the largest. So as far as population goes, we're fourth, I think, but geographically we're the largest.
Yeah, but from what I saw, the government officials were doing a really good job.
They did a really good job.
But they were getting a lot of backlash. But when you think about like the structure and the foundation of the city, it was never meant to handle this much amount of
People
water.
tried to kill Sylvester Turner because he didn't tell anybody to evacuate.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks after Katrina, when another hurricane got ready to hit and it was going to hit Houston, and we thought it was going to make a direct hit.
Oh, yeah.
They told everybody to evacuate. Right. And now you got 6 million people on freeways
on the road,
trying to get to
Dallas.
Or just to Prairie View.
Out of there.
Like, it was taking people 8 hours to get from Cypress to Prairie View. That's a 20-minute drive.
That's crazy.
And what ended up happening was they evacuated nursing homes and put them on buses, and then they're on the freeway, and then all of these older people are dying on buses. Like, I remember a busload of elderly people died on a bus because they were sitting on a freeway and they couldn't move, and it was hot. It was September, or August or something like that, and so you ended up getting more people to die trying to leave. And and we didn't even get directly hit.
That's a tough call. That's crazy to me when you think about it. How like government officials are elected to govern, and to implement policies, and how rare is it though that you actually have to make a decision that affects lives like that? Like they're probably just like thinking, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna implement something. Maybe help out this community, But then something like that happens, and you're like, I'm responsible for if these people live or die. Yeah, that's insane.
Because even if you're responsible for 100 people, you got to figure out, okay, who's gonna ride with who? How these people gonna get there? Yeah. Like I had a hard enough time trying to maneuver tickets around for my shows or for my football games. I couldn't imagine 7 million people waiting at the TV. Like, okay, so what we gonna do?
Just
because our lives literally depend on this. And like I saw pictures of your house.
Yeah, she was 5 feet underwater.
Your house was I was like, bro.
I was like, because like my girl was like, we need to leave. I'm like, they always say it's gonna flood like this, and it never floods like. And she was like crying, calling my mother on the phone, like he's not listening to me. And finally they convinced, like, all right, we'll leave.
You also are in the main flood.
Yeah, 100%.
On the main flood.
But last time it flooded real bad. That place, it went right up to the doorstep, and then so I figured it was going to be somewhere the same. But I mean, it would have though. But what happened was that hurricane hovered over the city for so long. Yeah. It was a different animal.
It rained for a long time.
Rained. And so,
was that your first hurricane?
No. Well, yeah.
Damn.
I was here right after I think it was Ike.
Ike, yeah.
I think it was right after Ike.
Yeah, Ike was rough, but Ike didn't hit Houston directly. It hit like Port Arthur, Beaumont.
Right.
But
there was a real bad storm I was involved in 2009. I don't remember what it was, but I remember looking outside the window and the trees were like sideways.
Yeah, look, these tropical storms and hurricanes, they're not fun, bro. Like,
but I think it's just humans, right? Like, why would you? Like, it looks pretty and shit, but like, I'm not settling. Like, the only reason why I'm here right now is because I have kids in Houston, and so I have to keep a foot here. But I'm gonna get a house somewhere else soon, and I don't. I mean, it just is what it is, man, you know what I mean? But we're right directly of the path.
Yeah, but then and then you got to find a place, because I would assume that where you're probably going is the West Coast.
Yeah,
but it's just like,
I love Oregon.
See, I haven't been to Oregon. No, I have been to Oregon. I've been to Eugene, and Oregon's beautiful. And I can see why people would want to go to the West Coast. They have beautiful weather.
The weed is legal.
The weed is legal, and apparently it is better.
No, it's not apparently. It's demonstrably better.
We not gonna debate that.
No, but to go back to what we were talking about, because I think it's an important point, was how the accusation of, I don't know if it's FEMA or the government or whoever's called it, was to say, okay, let's flood the poor communities.
Yeah.
The idea is gentrifying it, right? And I'm on the fence about gentrification. And I'll tell you why. Because when you gentrify a community, you uproot the community and people's homes, and they don't have anywhere to go, and so they flee somewhere else. But what you're essentially doing is you're bringing the property value up, right? And I guess this is the issue I have with gentrification, is that they don't treat all neighborhoods accordingly.
Right.
They specifically fund neighborhoods that are affluently people of non-color. And I always say classism is the cousin of racism, right? So if you have money, you're okay for now. And so they take people's homes and they reconstruct them and they build them back up, and then they raise the rent so you can no longer afford to live there.
Right.
The issue I have with gentrification is that it robs the city of culture.
Absolutely.
So New Orleans
100%.
happened in New Orleans. In New York, it's happening right now. Like, Brooklyn was notorious for its graffiti and all that stuff. But if you
they
look at
couldn't 100% do it in New Orleans because New Orleans, the culture is actually what drives the economy there.
Right, that makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
So you can't. They had to get grants and bonds and all that kind of stuff to just bring the jazz artists back, to bring the artists.
Wow.
Yeah, because they know that Bourbon Street ain't Bourbon Street if there's no if the music ain't there. Yeah. It's not there if the food and the culture ain't there. Like that culture directly drives.
You're 100%
like
right.
New Orleans is one of the blackest cities in the country. So if there is none of that.
And see, this is my issue with gentrification, because I think that all culture essentially trickles down and drives the economy. Like, you look at New York, like, why do you go to New York? You don't go to New York for the fucking 5-star malls or hotels. You go for the little corner shop pizzas, pizza shops. Like, that's what I go for.
Yeah.
But
I love New York.
If you look at Brooklyn now, like, I went to Brooklyn this last past when I was in New York probably a couple of months ago. Yeah. And they got this place called Dumbo.
Yeah. Down. Is it downtown?
Brooklyn. I don't know if it's downtown.
I stayed downtown Brooklyn last year when I went and did the Spike Lee shit.
So like, you go to Dumbo, and Jay-Z had a line about it in the song "Rich Nigga, Poor Nigga, Phil Nigga."
Yeah,
he had a line about it, and he said, "I could have bought a place out in Dumbo when it was $2 million. Now it's worth $25."
Yeah.
Like, that's
how I'm feeling.
That shit is lavish, dog.
Yeah,
lavish. They have a Soho house there.
Yeah,
it's fucking gross.
Well, see, gentrification to me works if you can then find a way to reintegrate the people that were already there into the city.
And see, this is where it hurts to say shit like this. I went to Japan.
Yeah,
and this is what struck me about Japan. The people and their culture. It was so beautiful. I went to a place called Kyoto. It's a city. And it's I'm downtown Kyoto.
You should have took me to Japan, but
I apologize, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm downtown Kyoto, and think of any downtown in any city of anywhere, USA. It's dirty.
Right.
Like, it's just dirty. It's
Japan's
dirty.
one of the cleanest cities.
Trash on the street. Yeah, rats everywhere. I went, dog. You could eat food off their sidewalk, relatively speaking, but it was just so clean. I'm talking about, it is the most clean place ever, right? So I'm unsure that people have a love for their surroundings and their environment here, that they'll take care of it.
But I think that's everyone, though. So it's like America was never built on being the cleanest place. So
it's a culture.
Right, it is a culture.
It's a culture.
Like one of the homies, one of my friends went to which Korea is it that we don't like? Is it South Korea?
North Korea.
North Korea. Okay, so he went to South Korea. And I said, "How was it?" He was like, "Is the cleanest city, is the cleanest place, cleanest country I've ever been
North
to."
Korea?
South Korea.
South Korea.
He says, "The cleanest place I've ever been." And I said, "Really?" He was like, "Dude, they don't have trash cans on the sidewalk."
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And I said, but so it's a conditioning. It's a conditioning that says, he said, if you are in Korea, you either have to keep your trash until you go home or throw it away where you was at.
Yeah.
But on the streets, you can't just throw that type of stuff away.
Yep.
And that makes sense to me because trash cans on the sidewalk, they put anything in those trash cans, so it smells already.
New York fucking stinks.
New York stinks. I mean, to an extent, New Orleans stinks because they're below sea level.
New Orleans stinks.
And so there's a lot of sewage and all that kind of stuff.
New
and,
Orleans,
you know,
that's what the first thing I noticed when I went to New Orleans.
And downtown stinks everywhere you go.
100%.
Because there are tons of homeless people.
That's one thing.
In the corner.
Sidebar. That's one thing I noticed about New Orleans as well was they don't bury people. They put them.
Yeah, because they can't dig too low.
Yeah, that was. You talking about something alien to me?
Yeah.
Like so, like all that, like we bury them 6 feet deep stuff.
Because when I asked that a few years ago to one of my best friends, I was like, man, why y'all don't bury people? He said, why you get to digging down there a couple feet, hit straight water, bro. I said, oh yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
That sounds so.
He said, we already below sea level, so you get to digging down there, you hit straight water. Straight water.
You do that shit really well, though.
You get straight water, bro. I said, yeah. He said, it's sewage water too, so it ain't. Nah, that shit ain't pretty, bro.
You do that shit so well. That's hilarious.
I said, oh shit.
But no, so I mean, to the point though, it's. I'm unsure that.
That's why we don't have basements either.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't notice that either, actually. Yeah. But like when you put, all right, let's say we have a third ward in Houston, or whatever, and they tear it all down and they build it back up, brand new, everything.
Which is what they're doing.
Well, okay, and they keep the rent the same. Will the people of that community find it in them to have the pride of that community to have the upkeep?
I think that it can be done.
This is what I'm saying though. It takes a reprogramming of how, because right now, like where I grew up, I didn't give a shit about where I lived because nobody else did. Nobody cared.
So my dad worked for over 30 years in Harris County Public Infrastructure. So he was over the public infrastructure he started off as a civil engineer, but then he started working in dealing with parks and recreation, roads and bridges, and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so his bosses were the commissioners. And he told me this story about how El Franco Lee, who was the commissioner of one of the precincts, mainly the Fifth Ward area, and he was telling this story about how good of how people respected him so much. And he went to Fifth Ward. I go to church across the street from church I grew up in was across the street from Finnegan Park. So if you're from Fifth Ward, you know what Finnegan Park is. It's right across the street from Wheatley High School, down the street from Coke Apartments. Everybody know that.
Calm down. You're here reminiscing. We don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so Finnegan Park.
I used to get this ice cream cone right down there.
There used to be a burger spot right there. You go, But the park, they had a rec center, and they did some renovations on the rec center. And within weeks, somebody had come and broke the windows. And so Franco would send his people down there to go, with county funds or whatever, go fix the windows. A couple weeks later, the windows were broken again. A couple weeks later, the windows were broken again. And and they said, why you keep spending money on these windows when you know these fools gonna break them? And he said, if he had this ideology that if you just keep showing them what the community can look like, they then will understand that, it ain't going nowhere. So it don't make no sense for you to break it because it's only hurting you, right? Because this is your rec center. This isn't, a rec center that we only bring the white kids to. This is where your kids go to after school programs and summer programs and stuff like that. Though. So he said, yeah, eventually they just stopped. And now you go by there to that place and nobody's doing the whole graffiti thing. Ain't nobody breaking backboards. Ain't nobody doing, they've just conditioned themselves to understand that this really is for us. And there's somebody back there trying to help us, and for these little kids too, because it ain't no 60, 70-year-old people going and breaking windows. It's just little kids just out there, being kids, slingshots or whatever, rocks and all that kind of stuff, breaking windows.
I done broke some windows.
Yeah. And so
on purpose too.
Yeah. And after a while, when you keep building, it takes a while. I think it takes a while, but I
think you're 100% right. And that's the issue is, I think when you're dealing with impoverished communities, you're dealing with broken people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the majority of the time, government doesn't want to invest in communities to unbreak them. But it's like what you said, what it takes is and it sounds super corny, but it takes love. It takes something like, and sometimes when you love people, you got to love them back to health. Because, I'm not that far removed from my situation growing up where I felt fucking hopeless. When you look out the window and you like, this entire world is against me. I've been there. I felt that before. And then I don't know what kept me going, but I just kept Pac helped me out a lot.
Yeah. I used to work at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. And I worked at the after school program. And there were kids there that were going through so much. And you could tell because their behavior was just like, it was, they were ages like 6 to 12.
Right.
And their behavior ranged from everything. Like you could tell, just like my nearly 30-year-old mind now is like looking at a kid, I'm like, PTSD. Okay, that one.
Right.
Definitely PTSD. This one over here, probably ADD. This one over here, he's being abused at home or she's being abused. Like you could tell. Right. And it just took like and some of it was just like, boy, go sit down.
Right.
And because they don't get that a lot sometimes. Man. But sometimes it's just like that kicking, screaming kid. I've been in there with a couple kids and they just throwing a fit. And I'm just in there in the office with them, just looking at them.
Yeah.
And when they realize that ain't nobody gonna fight them, ain't nobody grabbing them up, ain't nobody finna, put their hands on them, you just looking at them like, all right, you can continue, but you only gonna get tired yourself. And then you say, all right, you done? And they pouting, but then they're ready to listen.
Right.
So even if you not, because like there were times where I would let that happen and then I'd be like, all right, you done? And then I would talk to them and I would tell them the stuff that their parents probably ain't gonna tell them, or that these other people are gonna sugarcoat for them, their teachers and stuff like that. Because I used to tell these kids, because it was right there in Garden City in Acres Home. I used to tell them kids, I'm like, man, you know why there's a gate around this building? Because when you leave this gate, we can't help you. And you've lived in this. I said, I lived in this area, so I know that less than a mile down the road from us is a full jail, a Harris County jail. And they put that right in the middle of Acres Home. Mm-hmm. So once you leave this gate, there's not a lot we can do for you. And the police don't care about you because they think that your 10-year-old ass they're going to claim that they claim that you're a grown man at 10 years old.
It's been done before.
And so I had to tell them that, but then I also had to tell them that you got to figure out a way to harness your energy in a different way. And so I would give them that talk or whatever, and then the next day they cool, and then I don't have no problems with them no more.
Right.
Because sometimes, screaming at the kid doesn't help. Sometimes whooping the kid don't help. Just like going in and doing a full sweep of a neighborhood and sending everybody to jail and everybody like that shit don't work either. Because when they get out, they just gonna go right back to that same place to where they know.
Or even worse, honestly, because now they're bitter about the whole process.
Yeah,
and
it's a definitely an unlearning and a calibration of the entire
system.
The entire system.
We're so caught in this matrix, man, in this rat race of it's not helping is, and if people harp on this all day, every day, but what's not helping is social media. No, and what needs to happen is there needs to be government instituted curriculum on how to navigate social media, the social behavioral aspects behind it. It needs to be a course in all our young kids. It is the most influential thing that has hit this world since probably the printing press, cars. That's that big.
I think when another thing, because I agree with that, I think another thing that needs to happen is that I think black kids and brown kids need more access to learn how to code. And learn how to navigate it. So not just drive the car, but see what makes the car work. Mm-hmm. So
I always tell people that too, man. Like when you look at like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, yes, they're brilliant men. Oh, yeah, they are really brilliant. But they had access to computers when not a lot of people had access to computers.
Right.
So if a lot of the brilliance comes from like Einstein. Einstein, when he was little, his father gave him a compass, and he became infatuated with the compass.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know how did the shit move without anything touching it.
Right.
And so he just became infatuated with it. But it was an access to a father that sparked and fed that hunger. Our people don't have access to a lot of these things.
We had a foster kid at our school. He had Asperger's.
I'm sorry?
Asperger's.
What is that?
Asperger's is a high functioning form of autism.
Okay.
So it's like I don't want to be completely wrong. I believe that it is like not a severe form of autism, but
Look it up real quick.
yeah. So basically he's autistic, and a lot of the kids, they related to each other based on like, if you the new kid, oh, can you run fast? You know how to play basketball. You know, you got the new shoes. That was like the way that they find a commonality within each other. Well, this kid used to get made fun of all the time because he wasn't like them because of his condition, but also
You're right. It's like a high end of the spectrum.
Yeah. So what made this kid different from everybody, and what made everybody really make fun of him a lot, was he wasn't athletic at all. Like, the system of kickball did not resonate with him.
Right.
Like, he would kick the ball and then he would just stare if he kicked it, or he wouldn't even touch a football.
Right.
Like, it just wasn't. You throw a football out there, he's somewhere else. And so even some of the people that I worked with were like, what are you doing? He weird, you know, because they hood too. So they like, he weird. I'm like, nah, he just playing in the dirt. And what I learned by just watching him was he had a really, really high interest in so like dirt and rocks and stuff like that. Like, this kid probably gonna be a geologist at some point if they cultivate that. And they
here's to that point. I was watching Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He was doing an interview, and they said, where do your kids go to school? And he said, I made a school for them.
Right? What type of ballerific shit is
100%.
that?
But here's what's interesting about the school. He was explaining the dynamics of the school, and the school, he said there's no grades. He said so we have these categories, and you have to grow with other people. He's like, some people are interested in mathematics, some people are interested in arts, and he said you just find out what the kids are really, really interested in, and you cultivate that.
Yeah.
And it blew my fucking mind with the simplicity of it. But Einstein said the same thing. He said if I'm butcher it, but he said something of the likes of if you judge a fish how it climbs a tree, he said you're gonna think it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, if your kid is drawing on the wall, it's gonna piss you off. But if he just keeps drawing on the walls, then eventually you're probably gonna be like, let me get this
shit kind of hot.
Yeah, let me get this person a canvas.
100%. And so that's why there's a rule in my house. Like my little son, he drew on my couch, and I wasn't upset. I just told him, I was like, you can't draw here. I said, but I pointed him into his room. I said, you see these walls? Do what
you got to do.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
And so they go up to their rooms and they draw all over the walls. Yeah. Now when they get to the age and they're looking at that like, God damn. I'm like, now you paint the walls.
Yeah.
And you pull.
They don't know that part yet.
But
they don't know that part yet.
I don't like to hinder their creativity, because if who knows, whatever, that's serving you right now.
Yeah. I think that part of me growing up was I was really active. I was a really active kid, and in kindergarten, I was bad. Like, I was out there crying and just being just so energetic and just off the chain, and people just couldn't really deal with me. I think I made my kindergarten teacher to cry, and
I had one of those.
Yeah, and I
feel bad.
But my first grade year is the year that I started playing football. And I calmed down. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just because I had somewhere to go release my energy. Yeah. And I think that maybe if I had gotten into music earlier, that would probably be the same thing. Like, I always loved music, but I was never really into music. But, like, I don't know how to read music. I can't play an instrument. I'm not good at that shit. I just know how to sing. Mm-hmm. And I wish that I had done more of that then. It's
not too late, man.
It's not. And
I'm kind of going back and forth with a teacher with guitar, but I kind of taught myself piano. Like,
yeah.
You just gotta want to.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's like you just gotta want to.
It's a completely different language.
Yeah, it's just
and I need to pick that up just the way I picked up learning how to box.
You can't box.
Like, I'll beat your ass,
you
bro.
Cannot box. You cannot box.
I mean, you know, I've been doing it a year. I'm all right.
I'm saying if a nigga run up on me, he ain't gonna be able to.
I know how to throw that. I know how to throw that right. I'm just saying. And I got the wind to go for 3 minutes if we need to go for 3 minutes. You got regular guy got 30 seconds.
I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, that's why I've been playing basketball a lot lately, because I can't. I mean, I came from playing ball in the NFL where I used to get up in the morning and my job, I clocked in and I lifted weights and I ran, and that's what I did for a living.
Yeah.
And so now I cannot stand being in the weight room. I just don't want to have anything to do with it.
I've lost a lot of motivation for working out lately.
Yeah, I don't. So what I do now is because I have to stay active, otherwise I get fat. So I have to find something to do. So what I found out was, like, I had a couple small scholarship offers when playing ball when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You know, so I just play ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm nice with it.
So
don't get it twisted. I'm nice with it.
I just told my brother he was y'all be hooping. He was like, where at? Because my brother hoops.
Where at?
My brother be hooping.
I be looking for the brothers in the city to hoop. Where they at? I play with some of the cats that be playing in like Booker T. Washington area.
Yeah, I'm gonna link y'all.
Yeah, link me, because I be looking for,
because they be
no disrespect to my fellows at Rice that I play with, but there's these cats that I play with at Rice. They usually all white cats, right? But here's the funny part. Like, these niggas still play shirts and skins.
Oh, nah.
I tell them every time, I'm like, dog, I haven't heard of shirts and skins since I was like a child, like a little kid. They're like, no, man, you know, people gonna mess up who they pass to. I'm like, that's their fault. I was like, dog, I'm not taking my shirt off.
So my brother was oh boy, body shaming himself.
No, it's just like it be. So inside of that gym, the air conditioner be running.
Oh, it's cold.
So it's cold.
You gonna catch?
I mean, on top of that, imagine a nigga posting you up and he got his shirt off and he's back sweaty and you got to put your arm. I'm like, you got it. That's not. I don't want to win that bet.
We'll see.
Catching SARS.
So my brother hoops with a lot of overseas cats.
Yeah, that's what I want.
From the league. Like, he played in high school. He played basketball in high school. Then he went to UT and just got a math degree. But like,
shout out to him.
Yeah, like numbers is like his thing.
That's so dope.
But
I'm trying to do math. It's just
and now he shoots film. Like, he's like.
Really?
Editing and doing all his own thing and production and all that kind of stuff. Like, he does everything.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was there. He was like, I was going to come up to him and speak, but then he had left because, you know, I think my parents came and spoke to you.
Yeah.
And you probably couldn't tell it was him because my brother looks like Derek Fisher. My brother looks exactly like Derek Fisher.
I don't think I saw him. And was he at the table where your parents was?
He was standing around in that area. But he was like, yeah, I saw him over there with somebody, and then I was like, it's probably this girl. And swag. Was there, yeah. And I think somebody else came up and spoke to y'all for a little minute or whatever. But he was just like, man, I said, yeah, we were just talking about it yesterday. I was like, yeah, I said, Arian be hooping, I think, somewhere. He was like, where? And I was like, I don't know. I think like a 24-hour finish. He's like, man, he said the same thing. He said, I'm trying to bring a crew and go hoop somewhere.
Man,
like in the city.
I'm trying to make it an annual, because it's like, there's no better. There's one better cardio activity, swimming. But other than that, other than swimming, the best cardio activity I have, or soccer too. But besides those two, it's basketball.
Well, see, now I get in the ring and spar.
That's a different. You're right, 100%. And I don't want to do that though.
I
don't want to do that.
It sounds like a good idea until you're round 3.
Yeah,
and you're just like
until you spar with a nigga who really can box. Because there's a difference.
I've got in there with a couple.
I can handle myself on the street if we fight, but if we boxing in the ring,
I jumped in there last year, or like late last year, early this year, and I jumped in there with a 17-year-old kid, 16, 17-year-old kid, and he's USA boxing. He's ranked in the country, like in his weight class. And I was like, all right, I used to jump in there with the younger dudes a lot of time and be like, y'all take it easy on me because I ain't just out here like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you good, man? You good, man? This dude
hit you with a 3-piece and a biscuit.
He kept hitting me here like this, and I'm like, what is he doing? Because like he would do it because like the thing about boxing is when you're not used to it, you get hit and you say, oh shit, I just got hit. Like you're processing getting hit. And then as you're processing the fact I just got you get hit again. Yeah. And you like, damn. And so you really got to have reflexes and you really got to be quick with it. Yeah. So he kept doing this. And I'm like, what is that? And I was realizing that he was throwing the jab and checking the hook oh my God. It was, I said, yo, he is really. And then what happened was the first round, I hit him and coach said 5. I was like, what are you saying? So I'm back there and I'm, hit him with a body shot, boom, boom, just getting in, mixing it up with him. I hit him with another one. That's 10. I'm like, what are he doing? So at the end of the round, he told dude, every time he hits you with a shot, every time that guy hits you with a shot that you're not supposed to get hit with, you got 5 push-ups.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, work the dude. He here to give you work. He's talking about me. Nobody's coaching me, right? Nobody's coaching me. He said he's here to give you work. So do what you got. He said he ain't gonna break. You gonna be all right. Like, because the dude was like, I guess he was like, man, he kind of green. I don't really want to.
Right.
And so, and I was like, yeah, just do your thing.
Right.
Because I didn't want to bring down his workout either.
Right.
Like I wanted to get in there and give him some work. If I'm gonna be in there, I don't want to take up space.
Right.
Well, he got in there and started moving on my ass and started tagging me. And he wasn't really hitting me hard, but he was just hitting me. He was getting to me. And I'm like, yo, how is this happening?
Yeah, it's different.
And so I'm thinking like, hold on, man, you're not finna be, well, I'm 10 years older than you. I'll beat your ass out here.
It's different. Boxing is not fighting, dog.
It's not fighting.
Boxing is not fighting. But see, that's why I like, and it's no disrespect to the MMA crowd, I just don't like watching MMA. Cause it's just like, I know there's art from the jiu-jitsu, there's all kind, but like it's just a brawl, dog. Yeah. Niggas is kneeing this. I was like, I don't like watching niggas fight.
You ever seen the very first UFC fight?
No, but I'm going to Google it now.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna Google it.
It was like somebody Bam Bam Bigelow size and then somebody my size in the ring. They didn't have weight classes at first. So it was just whatever you was gonna do in that ring, you was just finna do it.
All right.
And there was no real structure to it. There was no real rules to it. Then they started implementing weight classes, and then they started.
It's just big now, right?
Putting rules. UFC is so big now. UFC just.
Wait, is there a difference between UFC and MMA?
UFC is the federation that houses MMA fights.
Man,
but there's other MMA companies like Bellator is another company.
See, I don't want to know this.
Used to be one called K1. I think UFC just ended up absorbing.
Yeah, I just don't want to know that. I have a certain amount of information that my brain can hold, and I don't want to know that.
Basically, UFC to MMA is what WWE is to pro wrestling.
Yo, I didn't really watch that either, so.
It's okay. So pro wrestling had WWE and WCW.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So it's just the organization.
I'm with you. I'm not gonna remember it after this conversation.
It's cool.
It's fun. I'm never gonna watch an MMA fight.
What's next on the docket?
I'm just saying. I just don't really want.
Don't tell Joe Rogan that, bro.
We didn't have that conversation, but if we did,
Joe Rogan,
he'd probably kick me off the podcast.
Rogan, kick your ribs out of your chest.
Listen here. Listen here. I will refuse to lose a fight to Joe Rogan.
Did you ever crack a rib in the NFL?
No, but you know what I did do? I think I slightly cracked one snowboarding around about a year ago.
Couldn't breathe, could you?
Dog. Yeah. I thought I broke it.
Yeah, I bruised.
Here's the story.
Oh shit!
It's a funny story, dog. So I had never been snowboarding before. It's my first time.
I've still never been snowboarding.
It's my first time on the snow, really. Like doing stuff on the snow.
Yeah,
I've been in snow before, but
they're doing stuff. You couldn't handle yourself.
So we go snow. I rent the gear. First of all, it takes me around 30 minutes to understand how to stand up and go consistently.
Because your feet are locked in.
And so like it's basically you have to navigate the tail whip. You have to understand how to do your tail whip. And so it took me about 30 minutes to so I can stand up now. But every now and then I'm falling. About 30 minutes later, like I got it. Like I'm really out there snowboarding. I'm cutting. I'm turning corners. I'm bending corners. Like I'm feeling good. I hear it, boy. 30 more minutes. I'm really comfortable. I'm really comfortable doing what. No, I wasn't that comfortable. But so I'm really comfortable. I'm doing my thing. Like I'm going around things. I'm doing things that I want to do on the snowboard. Yeah. Right. 30 minutes passed. It was an accident, but this is what happened. There was like this gate, and I'm going through the gate, and in order to go through the gate, I had to like make this really sharp turn, and I did it. And upon the turn, I couldn't. Pole? No. I couldn't stop myself, so I just did a full 360, and I caught my balance after the full 360. So I was like, nigga, I just did a turn. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I just did a turn, nigga. Yeah. I am on. I'm cooking. Yeah, I am cooking. So we
still don't know how you did it.
No. And so I'm cooking. We going down this hill. I see this little rail. They have these rail parks, and I'm like, nigga, I'm going on the rail. I just did a fucking turn. I turned my board sideways because that's how I did it on Tony Hawk back in the day. Yeah. Turned my shit sideways. My shit caught. I flipped and I landed on a metal rail, directly on a metal rail, going about 25 miles an hour, dog. I heard it was her brother. I heard a crack. I thought I broke. Well, he didn't really know what was going on, but I couldn't move, so I was hunched over the rail, and he was like, "You want me to go get somebody?" I was like, "Yeah, I can't breathe."
No, see, and that is why.
Well, I'll definitely snowboard again, but I will never grind a rail again. Never in my life. Hey, touche, man, touche.
Yo, I am
touche.
The last thing I guess I wouldn't mind maybe doing a snowboarding thing.
Shit, shit is fun. It's just don't do too much.
I'm just not completely with something that I can't get my feet out of when I want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what I think what compensates for that is when you start like understanding how to leverage your weight. Yeah. You can kind of you can move how you want to move. Okay. And your feet being strapped in helps you because you kind of use it to your advantage because you push forward and it makes you turn. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Anywho,
it looked cool.
It was dope. It was dope as shit.
It looked cool.
But dog, that's a great podcast, man. That's a great conversation, man. I appreciate you coming through.
For sure, man.
That was one of the only podcasts where I didn't have like an agenda. Yeah. We really just chopped it up.
We didn't even really talk that much about music either.
Nah.
We just, we was talking about everything.
Yeah. And we can do a part 2, man.
We did this last time too.
And we did do that.
Last time it was like 3 hours.
Yeah, we was like 3 hours. I'm taking my laptop home today though, so
yes, take your laptop
these
home,
motherfuckers can't jack me.
Yeah. Who's the most famous person you brought in this building?
In here?
Yeah. Because I know you did Snoop in LA.
Yeah, Snoop is in LA. Most of them like super famous people, I go to them. But probably Scarface.
Face.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad. How's it going, Brad?
I think I ain't listening to this.
Nah. They threw out their rumor that he had
had cancer or something like that. Yeah, cancer, yeah. But, no, he's straight. So
and he said he went on Twitter and was like, "I know y'all hate it, but I'm still here." Yeah,
that's my guy, man.
Shout out to Face, man.
But anyway, man, you know how we end the podcast every time, dog. So if you could please holler at your boy,
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, holler at your boy.
Hey, Jim Carrey. Come through, man. No, come to my podcast. Come to my podcast. Come to the Jack of All Trades podcast, man. Also, Jim Carrey, download the album. It's called Define Love.
Yeah.
Play it on one of your TV shows. And if you're in the neighborhood and you just feel like you want to come to the Now What podcast, come. But honestly, if I'm just come, I'll let you know when I'm interviewing, when I'm doing the interview. Arian,
that shit's crazy. You the only nigga to ever advocate your own shit to Jim Carrey. That's insane. Man. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Now we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you trying to sideswipe Jim from us.
This is hateration and holleration
100%.
In this dancery.
So if anybody can find you, where they want to find you at?
I am Jack Freeman on Instagram, _Jack Freeman on Twitter, Jack Freeman Music if you still use Facebook at all.
Nobody.
Man, you'd be surprised. They get their news like 3 weeks after.
100%.
Did you know that
Trump is president.
Did you know that Meek Mill and Drake was beefing? What?
Yeah, nah.
Man, you know he put out this song. He did that song. He did that song.
This nigga's stupid. Nah, but they can find him at it's I am Jack Freeman.
I am Jack Freeman on Instagram. _ Jack Freeman on Twitter. Jack Freeman Music on Facebook. TheFreemanBrand.com is the website. Go get the album. It is everywhere it's on Napster, bro.
Is it really?
The album is on Napster.
That's crazy. So y'all went back in time and put it on there. That's dope.
So if you got a fatback computer,
download that shit on floppy disk.
Go download it on floppy disk, and then get in the car and be confused as hell. Get that version. Get the Chop Not Slop version.
We're thinking about doing that to Flamingo and Koval.
Let me know, man.
Paul Wall already did it, but I haven't sifted through it yet, so I'm gonna check it out. Shout out to Paul Wall.
It's a whole nother crowd.
I'm interested to see how Wine Bottles and Cheese sounds chopped and screwed.
Wine bottles and cheese.
Yeah.
Round and around we go.
Exactly. Anyway, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. Y'all go check out his album. I love it.
Sure. What avocado toast?
It's R&B. She's coming up, but it's R&B how it's supposed to sound, man. It's beautiful music, man. We appreciate you, doggy.
I appreciate that.
Bye, man.